Guy got fired for being too good at his job. You know the T-1000 in Terminator 2? That only happened because Scott Ross committed corporate insubordination. Here's the story. Let's meet Scott Ross. He's a poor kid from the Bronx, and he remembers his mom coming home from a double shift on the subway with a bunch of other people coming out like rats exiting a sewer. He made a promise to himself that 1, he would never be poor again, and 2, he would never join the rat race. He leaves home, starts working sound on tour with the Allman Brothers, and he moves to California to live out his rock and roll dreams. There he sees a kid absolutely killing the hardest Charlie Parker song ever written. And he finds out that kid is 14 years old. Scott's like, yeah, I'm cooked, and he quits music completely. To cut to a decade later, Scott works some jobs, makes some money, and he moves to San Francisco. One day he's sitting in his car, and some hippie in moccasins comes and knocks on the window. They start talking cars, start talking rock and roll. He finds out this guy was the road manager for Crosby Stills, and this guy was Taylor Phelps, who is the president of One Pass, which is a post-production company. They instantly click, and Taylor offers him a job on the spot. I don't know, these things happened in the 70s, I guess. They were having a great time at One Pass, getting jobs done. But then the owners hired a very corporate suit who came in that was all business and absolutely no creativity. Scott doesn't like this guy, but this guy is making the company profitable. So he realizes he has to blend his creativity with the business acumen to become successful. One day, his phone rings. Lucasfilm wants him to run Industrial Light and Magic. This is the dream job at the time. ILM is at the top of its game and highly regarded in the industry. By the way, if you like stories like this, make sure to follow us on The Rough Cut on Substack. We write stories like this every week. The link is in the bio. So he goes through a round of 40 interviews and finally gets hired. Why 40, you ask? Well, ILM at the time, the culture is very paranoid and everyone's afraid of losing their job. So he realizes very fast at ILM that he has a very fancy title, but absolutely zero power. He orchestrates his own boss's promotion so he could take his boss's job. Now he is the general manager. His first move, well, the company had banned buying new tech because they were not profitable. The equipment they had at ILM is beginning to become outdated. So Scott ignores them and just starts buying equipment anyway. The gear that he bought created the morphing scene in Willow, the first digital composite in Indiana Jones, the water creature in the Abyss, and the T-1000. He becomes the artist champion at ILM and makes the company wildly profitable. Under Scott, ILM wins 5 visual effects Oscars in 6 years. He is crushing it. But there's a corporate suit at Lucasfilm named Doug Norby who sees him as a threat. So Norby promotes him by dumping a bunch of dying divisions onto Scott. It's a classic corporate move to bury someone. Scott's team crushes their bonus targets. He drives to Skywalker Ranch to celebrate. Norby looks him dead in the eyes and says, the other divisions failed, so no bonuses for anyone. This makes Scott completely check out. 6 years, 5 Oscars, and absolutely no recognition within the company. A few weeks later, Scott and his family are at a Mexican restaurant in Marin. And who walks in but George Lucas himself? So Scott walks over to say hi. George stares at him blankly and says, who are you? George had been so shielded by corporate management at Lucasfilm that he didn't even know who was running ILM. This obviously would crush most people. Scott is built different. So what does he do next? He builds a rival empire with none other than James Cameron. Stay tuned for part 2.